Howdy partnoids, here we are then, part 3 of the clock, and we're going to be talking displays, including our AM, PM jobby at the end here. So I'm going to show you a little bit about that as well. So we're already at this point, at this juncture, where we've got the arrays set up and ready to go, and we're well over halfway there. So all we've got to do is pretty much just put them straight into the displays and put the number information, write that into these green blocks here, and then we're pretty much done. So cool, let's get started. Okay, so first of all, positioning is probably the most important thing to start with. Obviously you want your displays to be centered on these, and the way I do that is obviously come here, find the center, then I'm going to go one block out onto the corner of the array there. So that's the corner of the array, and then you're just going to count out 10 from there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then on the 10th one you're going to put the block. And that's just to give you enough room to independently run lines into the display. And then so we'll start with this side, so you've got this block in the middle, and then this is going to be the edge of a display, so 3, 4, 5, 6, set, so it's 7, and then you just want to build up. Not quite sure how tall it is yet, but we'll soon find out. So there are obviously quicker ways of doing this. If you guys are using single player commands, you could just block it out, copy paste, whatever. It is very useful for when you're not worried about, you know, cheating, not playing legit and stuff. So so you want to come down here and just cut out your shape, and then I just sort of wing it. Ah, perfect height, brilliant. So how many high is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 high. So it's 11 by 7 the display, and then yeah, you're cutting out your 3 blocks per segment. So I've already shown you guys how to build the 2 block segment display, but this is the 3 block. So you've got it a bit like that, and then I come back here, build out 3, cut those blocks out, and then you're just going to do a frame behind the display, a bit like that. Build her up there, out, and then up like that, and then you can cut these corners off. So you've got a nice frame just to build or to place your sticky pistons on. So you come down here, and then all you're going to do is just place pistons on every part of that frame. So then when you look back here, you've got pistons in the 8 shape there, and you can put the wool straight in front of it, a bit like that. So once you've done that, you've obviously got to now independently power each set of 3 pistons, and we'll start with the middle ones. So the first thing you want to do is just build out 3 blocks like that, and then repeaters in there, repeaters in there, repeaters in there, and then redstone dust like that. In fact, you can cut out the middle, and you're just going to put a redstone torch there so it powers all 3. So those should be pushed out in the middle there, and then obviously you've got to power the sides, so you're just going to cut these blocks out, center blocks, and then you're going to put wool coming out 1 like that. So everything's built out 2, and then torch there, torch there, torch there, torch there, and then repeaters. Now you could use redstone dust to do this, but I find repeaters give you a bit more control if you're going to muck about with timings. So it should go something like that, and then redstone dust here, 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 and here, and then as you notice here, there's a bit of crosstalk, so just a block above that, a block above that. So now you should have everything pushed out on the front, and if I give you a little example, the old lever fella, when you pull that down, that's going to pull that segment in. So every time you power one of these torches, it's just going to pull in 3 of the blocks, so they're independent. And that's the display done, and all you've got to do is obviously build 4 of these now, with the 1 gap in between like that. So I'm not going to sit here and build every one, because as thrilling as that sounds, I'm sure you guys would be pretty bored with that. So I'll do it, and I'll get back to you. You should end up with something a bit like this. and yeah, like I say, it's just one gap in between each display. I find this is the safest way really of doing it. So you've just got quite a nice bit of room back here to connect up all of your arrays without getting any problems. So I'm going to start with the first array here because I think this is the most important really, because obviously we've got a strange counting pattern where we're going up in threes. So first things first, we're going to have to link it up, and the place that you're going to link every individual block line in here, so this line, then this one, this one, this one, is wherever I'm putting these blue blocks now. So obviously you've just got to power the torch that's controlling each segment. So you could come in from the side, and we may well do that at some point, so you could come in from there as well. Okay, so like I said before, I start with the floor, and I just come around like this for the three bottom sections. They're already kind of there for you, ready to rock. So do something along the lines of that. Just bring them out so you're connecting up each section. Then run dust. In fact, that's going to have to go on the side. Obviously your dust has to go directly into the torch, so I won't turn it off, so that's that. And then same thing there, same thing there, like that. So that's your three bottom section segments done. So as you can see, they're retracted in now. And then it's just a case of doing the same for up here. So start with this one. You want to make sure that you don't touch any of these pistons because you don't want any errors to occur, so be careful of that. And then what you're really trying to do is keep as far away from this array as possible. Down here it's not so bad because obviously you're just going to build down there anyway, so it's not a problem. But you don't want this to interfere with anything up here or vice versa. So that's that segment. This is going to go to middle. So it's just kind of finding the space, and yeah, there's not really a brilliantly neat way of doing this, but you know, it's not too hard really. So we're going to come in there. So I'll probably come in from the side for this one. Bit like that, and then link them all up in there, then in there, in there, and then we've got our final one here that's going to go right to the top segment, which is always the most annoying one. So I usually just build straight out across first, and then just kind of find the easiest way of getting here. Bloody weather. Right, so connect that up. And she's there. So we've now got every segment retracted in, and we can affect on each line that gets pushed into the front of these, we can affect which segment out the front gets changed. So as you can see there, if we were to do loads of it, then go out, as you can see we've got an inverted 7, but just as an example, the glass blocks affect what you see out the front. So that's the whole thing connected up, and now specifically on this first one, I'm going to take you through what you're going to need to do to get the right display numbers on the front. So I'll show you how to do that. Right, what I've done on the world save is I've actually written out what numbers and in which order you need to input them into the arrays. So if you guys are confused by what I'm doing here, you can just come on and check that out. Now, like I say, we're going to do the first one, and then I'll talk a little bit about the others. So like I say, this is going up in multiples of 3, so you're going to start with 0, then 3, 6, 9, 2, 5, 8, etc, etc. So the first thing you want to do is probably put a button on your pulse limiter so you can cycle it manually, and then you're just going to come around here, and obviously you're just going to affect the corresponding block with each segment. So we're starting with 0, so we need our middle segment pushed out. We're going to come in here, find the middle segment line, take that out, come around, check, so we've got a 0, and then you just cycle it on. Before you do that though, what you have got to do is every time you go past a 10, you're going to put a wool block in. So obviously 0 is the 10, so you put a wool block in there. And then we're going to cycle that round. So the next one is obviously 3, as we're doing multiples of 3. So you come out here, check what segments you don't need. So that's 2 on the left. Find the corresponding lines in here. So it's these two. And that is your number 3 at the front. And then you cycle that round. So we're going to have buggy buttons. Number 6, which is just top right segment. So you follow that down and replace that in there. You've got yourself a 6. Next segment is 9, so that's bottom left. So you find bottom left, and you'll pretty much get used to where they are after a while. So yeah, we've got ourselves a 9. Now we're going to tick over to 2, so obviously that goes past a 10, 9 to 2. So you come back here and you put a wool block in to carry out, and then you're going to do your 2. So 2 is top left, bottom right, that you don't need to see. So you come in here, put that in, and then top left, which is this line here. So you're just going to do this all the way around. We've got a 2, now we need a 5. So that's just the opposite. So that's top right and bottom left, which is that one. Come in there, we've got ourselves a 5. Then we've got an 8, which obviously 8 you just leave all the blocks, so you can just skip on to the next one. And obviously we're now on a 1, so we've gone past a 10. We come back here, put a block in like that to carry out. So we're on 1, and 1 is these 2 right segments and everything else blocked out. So it's that, and then all that taken out. So this should be pretty self-explanatory for you guys by now. 1, then we want a 4, which is the top section, bottom left, and bottom center. And there's our 4. And then finally we want our 7, which is everything but these 3 blocks here. Hopefully. Yeah, there we go. So that's everything inputted now. And you've got your blocks here that output every time. Did I get that right? 4? Yeah, I did. Yeah, cool. So let's link this clock up, and we shall watch it cycle round just to make sure that we're all okay. So 0, 3, 6, 9, 2. This is so thrilling. Yeah, so you just got to make sure that it cycles around nicely. And we're all good by the looks. 4, 7, and 0. Cool. Now, what you're going to need to do is input the rest of the information to these arrays, but probably, well, yeah, after you've linked them all up again, exactly the same as we've done here, into the 7 segments. So, yeah, make sure you've done that before you start inputting the information here, or you're not going to know what you're reading out the front. So, you're going to connect the rest of the arrays up, and then you're going to put in these specific numbers at the back. So in the second array, which is the first of the 12 line arrays, you're going to put 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're going to do it again, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it just loops around twice. And this obviously gives you your tens of minutes. So this is counting up essentially your seconds or your small minutes, and then this counts every time it ticks over 10. And that's why we had these purple blocks in here every time you go over a multiple of 10. So you've got that, and obviously remember to put a pink block, purple block every time you input a 0 at the front. So once you put the 0 in at the front, don't cycle it round. Just make sure you come back here and put a purple block in there like that, so that it carries out every time you hit a 0. So that's that one, and then this one here is obviously your hours. So there's going to be 12 numbers, and they go in this order. So 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 0, 1, and that's obviously signifying 12 o'clock at the start, then 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock. And this array here handles the 1 and the 0 that you're going to get displayed depending on which hour it is. So to make up your 11, 10 and 12 o'clock basically. Now the carryouts on this are on the 1 here, because that's going to tick this over to 0 obviously to give you a 1 o'clock display, 0, 1. And then it's also going to tick over on this 0 here, because that's going to want to tick it back over to 1 on this display, so that you get a 10, 11, 12 o'clock, and then when you hit 1 again it takes it back down. So just again, that's on the 1 and the 0 here that you have a purple block, and then this final array is just 0, 1, and you do just input that 5 times, so it'll just go round in a loop of 0s and 1s. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna kind of build up the clock and finish it off, and then show you how to make the PM and AM edition. So this little setup is obviously just blocks with pistons, sticky pistons behind them, much like the segments over here, but you've just got a lot more blocks basically. And then I'm using these orange and yellow circuits at the back to power, you know, all the blocks at once basically. So yeah, that's that. And then it's obviously going through a T flip-flop with a NOT gate and an AND gate. So there's 3 gates beforehand, and what that does is when the AND gate's inputted, as you can see, it swaps over our display. And that's because the T flip-flop here has 2 outputs, one going into the orange, one going into the yellow, and they're alternating. So at the moment it's yellow, and then when you input again, it swaps over to the orange like that. And we take our feed to tell us when it's AM or PM from the display lines in this display here on the left and this display that's showing 2, and we take it specifically from this one, the bottom middle here, and then the center segment of this display. And basically, because you want the AM and PM to switch over every time it comes down to 12, you have to use those segments to do this, and this was the kind of easiest way I could find to do it. So I'll take you through that now. Okay, so for me, I just fill everything in like that. So you've got a display like that, and then you're going to come here, you're going to count 1 gap out, and then you're going to start doing your PM. So it's 4 blocks like that. I mean, you guys can kind of customize this to whatever you want really, but I found this is pretty much the smallest readable jobby. So you're going to build it out like that, and then AM at the top here as well, like that. And then you're going to want to be putting your pistons behind, which is a little bit tricky, but not rocket surgery. She's down like that, and then, I mean, for me, I just do the whole frame thing here, and then you just build your sticky pistons straight onto that. I mean, if you're really lazy, you could just skip this whole section out and just have like a light that tells you if it's AM and PM, but I don't think that's as cool. So this is what I've gone for, and yeah, it worked out pretty well. It's actually not too much extra work really to get her to work. I do not like this bit though. So there's the M, and then what you've got to be careful of here is getting any kind of interference with those light blue blocks that you can see in the background when you're putting in the power for these sections, because obviously they're pretty close. So yeah, you just have to be careful of that. You might have to do some rewiring here and there, but you know, shouldn't be too much of an issue. So yeah, you just continue on with this. Okay, so everything there is filled in at the back, so you've just got a mirror basically of the front, and then you're going to want to be able to power each of these separately. So the way I've done it at the moment is this bottom line, you're just going to build out 2 like that, and then run a line all the way to the same length, and then the same up here. Now I can already see that that's going to cross torque there with this, so you might have to do a little bit of moving around as far as this is concerned. So we go up like that, and out like that, so we miss that there, so that should be absolutely fine now. And then you're just going to run redstone dust along the top here and here. Then you come around the front and you're just going to put a torch, and if it affects something, you're going to want to put a torch there so that you get every piston pushed out. I mean, you could just put all torches here if you're really lazy and not actually work out which ones affect it. But so now our PM blocks are all pushed out, and then you do exactly the same at the top for the AM part. A bit like that, and then torches all the way along. Same pattern, I think. Oh. Not there, 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 and there. So now they're all pushed out. And then you've just got to get power from this area down here. So I just do the old torch towers that way round. Torch there and a torch there. So whenever you affect this block now, it's going to retract the whole AM and PM job, and then rather the PM job, and then build. You can go from there actually. This all the way up here. Now you want both of the circuits to be in the same state, and then obviously your T flip-flop's going to affect them. So you either want the redstone dust for all of this to be turned on or off. So I'll show you what I mean. So if we cut these blocks out, we're now aiming to have the yellow circuit, this redstone, turned off basically. So that'll do. So if we have a block there and then a block there like that, just leave that up there. So they're both pushed out at the moment because obviously we're going to have an alternating input T flip-flop here. They'll get changed by that. Now the old T flip-flop, this I'm just using this one because it's old school and it's better for alternating output than most others. So you just put 2 torches in the ground, 3 blocks like that, so 2 up, 1 across, torches on either end, and then dust on top, and then sticky pistons. No, you don't need sticky pistons. Normal pistons, 1 there and 1 there, and then your input is going to want to be here, and then every time you press the button it's going to swap that block below over. Whoops. So put that there so you can see it. So that gets swapped over every time, and then your alternating output is just going to go in here like this. So and then you might have to put a block above that just to make sure. That's not going to work. Just put a repeater instead. So now every time you press this, it's just going to swap over what gets pushed out. That's got to be linked up there. So PM retracted being displayed, press that, and then AM not being affected because of that. So yeah, there we go. Swapping over is the general idea. Bit like that, and then now to get this to swap over on the 12-hour thing, we're going to have to do what I said, which is come down here, and you're going to take a signal from this middle section of this array and display, so this bottom middle here, and then you're also going to want to take a signal from this line, which affects the center segment of this display. So however you want to do that, do it. So I just messily build down like this basically. It's going to need to go into an AND gate, So with this one, you actually want to have a NOT gate, so have it inverted there, output, bring that round, and then you're into an AND gate here, which is going to have two torches like that, one torch there, a bit of dust there, and then somehow you're going to want to get this into there. So you might have to put some blocks here or there just to block other stuff off. So it should be like that, and then if we look out the front, we've got a 2 and a 1, 0, but if we had a 1 here making a 12, if I just swap that, you'd see that our AND gate's now activated because we've got this output here, whereas if it was the 0 like it was before, or any other combination, this would not be output here. So yeah, provided it's on 1 and 2 giving us 12, this AND gate will be on basically. So now all you've got to do is just lead a line all the way through this mess of redstone, and you're going to lead this all the way to our T flip-flop down here. So you could use instant wiring for this if you wanted, if you guys know what that is, and I'm probably going to be doing a little, probably 60 seconds with CMB on that soon, because I think it's a worthwhile subject. So you lead this all the way down here, and then it's going to go into that input there. I think that'll be alright, and just make sure you've got enough repeaters to carry the charge, and also you need to put a NOT gate in between, a bit like that. So now, if we just cover this over, like that. If we go back down here now, so if we're displaying AM and then we click this over to 12, so essentially going over to PM, like that, we come out here, as you saw it just swap there, and we've now got PM. So you've got an AND gate, a NOT gate, a T flip-flop, and then the alternating output goes into the yellow circuit or the orange circuit depending. And if you guys are a little bit confused by that, then just come on the World Save and check it out, and it should make sense, hopefully. Right, so we're pretty much there. Now there are a few things to note, and that is that all these repeaters in here, including that one there and the ones at the end, should basically be on 2 delay, and this just stops anything out here getting spit out because of 1 tick pulses and stuff like that. You can get a few errors displayed if you don't do that. Sometimes it's not always the case. So I'd recommend just putting all of these repeaters in here on 2 ticks of delay, and it won't affect anything other than stopping errors out the front. Now, to get good carry speed, and if you see here, that carry speed's a little bit slow, and we're actually displaying an error here because I've been screwing around with this. So yeah, the kind of the problem is, as you'll see now, it ticks over and then this ticks after that, so it's a little bit late. Whereas over here, if I show you this, is it still counting? Yes, she is. So as you saw, they tick over at exactly the same time, or near enough. So as she comes up, it should change. Exactly, there you go. So, and this is not too much far behind. So the way you do that is inducing a bit of delay in these 7 segments here. So this one's got 3 repeaters on full delay, and then this one has got kind of 2.5, and then this one's got none, and then this one at the end's also got none. So you could technically work your way through the system. You'd put a bit more delay here, a little bit more delay here, a little bit less delay here, and then no delay here, just to get everything to tick over at the same time, if you understand what I'm going on about there. So that's just a heads up on that one. But otherwise, I think we are pretty much there. So as far as starting it to count in-game time, what I do is I get it onto 12:00, obviously, so just 12 o'clock, and then AM or PM. So if it's AM, I'll wait for night, but if it's PM, when you look directly up and the sun goes onto your little cross, you start the clock at that exact point, and then when the moon comes around and is in that exact spot, it should be 12 again. I've done a few tests on this. I might do a video just to show the timing sped up, so you guys can see. But yeah, it's been very accurate in the tests that I've done. So yeah, hopefully that sorts you guys out on this one. And yeah, well, cheers for watching.